Welcome to the MineSanity podcast. What's up, guys? My name's Eric, aka Azrael Eternity, and welcome to the MineSanity podcast. With us today, Gravewalker.
Heyo.
Banjo Bates.
A doe, a deer.
And Sikor.
Greetings.
Alright, off the top of your head, Grave, song lyrics, go.
No.
Sing something.
No.
Okay,
Alright.
Azrael, looks like it's your turn.
I said a hip, a hop, a hippie to the hip, hip, hop. You don't stop the rockin' to the bang, bang. That's about all I know.
Are you even old enough to remember that song?
I am.
Oh, okay. Just checking.
Granted, I was 2. I think.
As I am, I like to say, I am old enough and young enough to remember the 80s.
Well, good for you. Anyway.
80s were a good decade.
Except for the hairstyles.
Yeah.
I don't
From what I
blame
can
those.
hear of the 80s, it was a terrifying, terrifying time.
Hey, computers were made big in the 80s.
Yeah, they were literally big, the size of a room.
Made big. Alright, so we got a whole slew of topics to talk about. We have a big list of honorable mentions, and we have a decent enough size list of full discussions. Plus, we have our first question, which was not user submitted. I just submitted it. I mean, I guess I count as a user, but... So, first, honorable mentions. Dead Island Riptide gets ripped a new one by GameSpot. I was actually planning on buying this game, and I watched / listened to the review, and I was like, you know what? They hit it pretty much spot on for how the last game was, and it doesn't sound like anything's changed, so I think I'm going to end up passing on it. For those of you that haven't seen it, they gave it a solid 4 out of 10.
Ow!
Yeah. Basically,
Well, at
it was
least it was
just...
a solid 4.
yeah.
Yeah.
4.0. Not even like a 4.5.
Not a 4.1.
4.0. Well, I don't think they do 0.1.
Well, from what I understand, the first game was horrid too, so...
Yeah,
It
they hyped
was
it up real
horrid,
well.
and it was glitch-ridden, and it was boring and repetitive.
Dead Island is just...
It was even one of them games that everybody was excited about, which made it even worse.
Yeah.
The guy that did the review put it pretty accurately. He said the entire game is just a long series of fetch quests that have fetch quests in them.
Oh,
Well, that
crap.
just sounds...
God.
A fetch quest is where you are told by an NPC to go get a certain item or complete a certain objective, and in order to complete that objective or get that item, you have to go complete a separate objective or get a separate item.
EverQuest?
So, it does sound awful and does sound horrid. And there was, the big controversy back in January or something about the hand-painted figurine of a severed woman's body that had no arms, no head, and it was just a torso with a bikini top on, a UK bikini top on. That they were shipping out with their premium edition.
Oh God, really?
Yeah.
Wait, what is this, a mannequin?
It's a bust, but all it is a torso. It's
Oh,
Not what
with,
you think it is,
like a
Banjo.
severed head, severed arms,
No.
and no lower body.
That's
It's just-
horrid.
Yeah.
Even for us, that's bad. We're pretty bad sometimes.
Yeah, we're pretty
Sometimes.
awful. And they apologized. They said they were looking into doing an alternative, but they still ended up shipping it with all of the
You know,
units that
this
they're
looks
doing.
pretty bad, but we're gonna send it anyway.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
It's
Wow.
pretty awful. And yeah, there's not much else I can say about it other than wow.
Thought this was supposed
I
to be
think
an
that's enough
honorable
mention for an honorable mention.
Yeah.
Dishonorable.
Dishonorable. Well, other things that are slightly dishonorable. Xbox,
Sure.
you can now order a Pizza Hut pizza from your Xbox using Xbox Connect.
And guess who's not surprised?
These guys.
Yeah.
God.
Look at the average person who plays Xbox. Now look at the Papa Murphy's down the street. Same people? Probably.
I had a very strange thought the other day when I was getting fast food for my
Just
lunch
one?
before work. Well, I have one in particular that I'm actually going to share.
Okay.
I'm always I go to the same fast food restaurants because they're right close to my work, so I kind of recognize the staff that work at those places, and it's slightly more comforting to me as a fat person that the people behind the counter are also fat. And it's people that, you know, obviously enjoy eating, not some little skinny bitch. And so when the person took my order at the drive-thru, it was one of the regular guys that I knew, big hefty Hispanic gentleman, named Juan or something along that line. I honestly don't remember. I'm not saying it to be offensive, for once. And when I got up to the window, it was somebody else. It was a young, thin woman that was taking my food and giving me my double heart stop burger with extra cholesterol.
Did you ask her how the hormone treatments were going?
This is not 4chan, please. So,
You know, Azrael, I gotta say that you and I live in completely different worlds for being on the same coast.
Uh-oh.
Everybody up here, no matter what, nobody working in a fast food place is over, I think, 80 pounds.
maybe that's just how they're preparing the food.
Well, I haven't gone to a fast
I had
food
a buddy.
place in
I had a
while.
buddy that worked for Jack in the Box, and he was all, if you knew what some of the ingredients were for some of these things, you would not buy them. Like, for example, I will tell you. Okay, have you guys ever eaten at Jack in the Box?
Yes.
No, but
Okay. For those of you that have, are you aware of the 2 for $1 tacos?
Kind of.
Okay. Do you know what the primary ingredient of the meat in the taco is?
Not meat.
Not, well, technically. It is anchovy paste.
Oh.
That is the
Well-
number one ingredient in the meat product that is in those tacos.
I mean-
Anchovy paste.
Anchovies are, not horrible for you.
They're not horrible for you, but it's definitely not what you would think of being in a
It's-
taco.
It
it's
tastes
not
like.
beef.
It
Wait,
tastes like
wait. Fish tacos, really? Wow.
Fish tacos are pretty good.
Well, fish tacos are typically made with something like cod.
Or, actual fish.
Not by Activision, by the way. But yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and go to hell now. Other things that are going to hell: Battlefield 4. Speaking of using in light of the Xbox Connect comment, Battlefield 4 is going to ignore the motion control quote-unquote gimmick, which I agree, it's a gimmick.
So, in other words, instead of making people get off their butts to play a video game, they're just going to say, you know what, we aren't going to do that. Just stay sat and order some pizza or something.
Yeah, and order some pizza with your Xbox.
Exactly. That you see, people who are jumping around aren't going to order pizza.
That's
so.
a
They're going to be too
problem.
damn tired. Actually, I think the people that are jumping around are more likely to order the pizza because they don't want to have to get off their asses and get it because they're so tired from playing the video games. I mean,
Well,
am
I mean,
wrong
you
with
can
that?
get pretty mentally tired from playing video games.
Yeah, I'm not disagreeing. But I say it's a good thing because I honestly don't understand the whole motion control thing. Like the Wii, I kind of got it because the Wii was the first one that did it and it does it, a certain way. But I mean, PlayStation Move, essentially is just
It's a Wii.
It's a Wii console with a ball on the end. That's about it.
Yeah. I do have to say, though, that when the Kinect first came out, they did the Halo thing with motion control, and it was pretty cool. Of course, it didn't work out that well, but it was pretty cool to see that you could make a virtual battlefield in your living room and completely dick around and look high all the time. But anyway.
Yeah.
Okay.
Speaking of things that are rather high, I don't know, fuck it. Razer, the PC peripheral maker, is honoring an unauthorized 90% off coupon code. Razer makes a whole bunch of different gaming peripherals and software peripherals. They make lots of high-end keyboards and mice, and I think headsets too.
Yeah.
Very pricey, very, very pricey. And also based in the UK, so you have to pay for them to be imported. They are honoring 90% off coupon codes that were used a week ago or so, even though they lawfully could cancel all of the orders because they were done in an illegitimate way. But they have said that
legitimate illustration of it.
but they have said that they have always been a customer-based company and try to promote the highest level of service, and so they are honoring the code for that reason.
Yeah.
And also, I would say it's probably a lot of good press for them that they're.
It is. I mean, it sucks that they're losing money like that.
They're losing, and they are to put it in perspective. They're losing money hand over fist over all of this.
Yeah.
Like the 90% off is like well below their.
What it takes to make them.
Yeah, exactly. So.
Yeah.
Gotta say it's pretty good.
Yeah, it's cool that they're actually honoring the code, even though it's junk.
Yeah.
But
I'm curious as to how it happened, but
yeah, I wish that was actually listed in here.
Yeah,
Facebook.
And I'm sure people don't want to give them say how it was done, so that somebody tries to exploit the same loophole. I mean, obviously they've probably fixed the loophole that.
Hopefully.
Got it. Yeah, hopefully. But Xbox 360 hits 77 million unit sales.
Now that's high.
Yeah, that's high. 77.2 million unit sales since it was released in 2005. So
not
we're
bad.
yeah,
So it's
10
not like just a Slim. It's all the consoles.
all Xbox 360 consoles.
Yeah.
Since 2005.
Hmm.
Not any
Doing the
specific
math.
one version.
2005.
It's a little bit under 10 million units per year.
Per day.
It's about 10 or 11 million units, because I think it came out in November or October, just before Christmas of that year. So yeah, about 10 million units a year.
Something like that. Yeah.
That's pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Considering, let's see, how many million of people are there in the U.S.? Like 300 something million, about.
Something like that.
Rocks.
So 1 in 4 owns an Xbox.
So that an approximation would be about 1 per household, if you figure, the average household as they define it.
Yeah, average household. Yeah, mom, dad, 2.5 kids.
2.5.
That's the statistical
yes,
average.
you're the half kid, Banjo.
No. I have a brother for that, but
No, you're the half. Sorry.
I was the first out. Come on.
Speaking of mom, dad, and the kids, negligent parents face prison time now after the death of their second child. This is coming about. The parents originally were given 9 years probation because of the death of one of their children, a 2-year-old, that they failed to provide medical treatment and instead opted to pray and leave it in the hands of God.
Oh, one of those.
Yeah, very fundamentalist Christian family, and they let one of their children die because God willed it to be so. They are now facing criminal charges and jail time because a second child, an 8-month-old, so not one that was conceived and born after the death of the previous, has also died from unknown causes, most likely related to respiratory problems.
Nice.
Yeah, where the fuck are these crazies coming from?
They might be genetic. They might be genetic, but there's one thing that I'm almost certain of is that they're gonna have a lot of children with this because both of them are probably carriers of some horrible disease.
What?
That
we just need to fumigate.
Fertility? No.
We need to save. I mean, thankfully they're both going to go to jail, and hopefully they, the rest of the kids, however many are still surviving, will get proper medical care and be placed in families with people that actually care about their well-being.
Yeah.
I was about to say something really insulting, and then I thought, no, that's probably not a good idea.
I'm trying to restrain myself because the religion thing.
I don't even look at it much as a religion thing. It's just like common fucking sense.
Yeah, well, you
Not
need
so
common
common.
sense to survive, but common sense sure as hell ain't common anymore.
Yeah.
Well, Asriel, obviously they had common fucking sense.
Yeah.
God damn it, Banjo.
Well played.
Jeez.
Say, you were trying to get a comment in.
I was, I mean, I get the whole, the Lord will provide bit. But, at the same instance, he helps those who help themselves. So,
There's a joke that I have heard. An older man is sitting in his house, and this reports on the TV is that there's going to be massive flooding, and it's going to get 7, 8, 10 feet, 12 feet tall. And he's sitting in his little house in the trailer, and the water starts rising and it comes up into his house, and some of his neighbors come over and they're just like, come on, we're leaving, we're getting out of here, come with us. And he's all, no, the Lord will take care of me. So the water gets up to the top of the house. It still hasn't gone over yet, and some firefighters come over in a boat, and they say, come on, get in the boat. And he says, no, the Lord will provide for me. And then the water is up to his head, up to his neck, and he's barely, swimming along, and he's starting to get pulled into the current. And another boat comes by and says, grab the rope, we'll pull you in, we got to get you out of here. And it says, no, the Lord will take care of me. And the man eventually drowns. And so he's at the pearly gates with St. Peter, and St. Peter looks at him and says, wait, you're not supposed to be here. He says, what do you mean? The Lord didn't take care of me. He didn't save me. He said, well, we sent you 2 boats and your neighbors.
yeah.
Actually, the same kind of thing happened when Mount St. Helens erupted. There was a guy that lived there that would not leave for the life of himself. Literally. So.
Yeah, that doesn't surprise me.
One last thing on this article. I just realized they're from the same state as me. I feel ashamed.
Yep, they are from Pennsylvania.
Good job, Grave.
So I wonder if, it says they're fundamentalist Christian. I don't think that Quakers or anything like that fall under it.
I would hope not.
Anyways, so next. NASA releases a video of 3 years worth of sun activity shot and presented to you in 3 minutes.
This video is amazing.
To watch that video. I haven't got around to it.
It is quite amazing to look at. It's definitely something worth looking at. They took 1 frame for every 12 hours of a day and put it all into video.
Really?
Yeah, that's what it says in the article. They took only 1 shot every 12 hours from a satellite in geosynchronous orbit from around the Earth, shooting at an object thousands of miles away and getting it in the same place of frame each and every shot over the course of 3 years.
Okay, so for one thing, from watching this video, I can see that the sun is really slow because every 12 hours it looks like a fairly smooth image. And for another thing, for those of you who don't know, geosynchronous orbit is really hard to obtain because you have to have something spinning in the exact opposite direction as the Earth at the same rate
that the Earth is spinning.
That the Earth is spinning, yeah, which is actually really difficult to do with modern technology, and obviously someone did it.
And you will, it does say it in the article, but if you guys watch the video, you will notice that the sun does appear to grow and shrink during certain parts of it, and that is simply because of the position of the Earth in relation to the sun, as well as the position of the satellite as it's taking pictures, whether it's on a farther part of the Earth rather than a closer one. But mostly it's relation to the Earth's path around the sun. It makes it appear that it's growing and shrinking all at the same time, depending on how close the Earth is. So I thought it was really neat. I saw it in the science section and thought it was worth mentioning.
Yeah, it's interesting.
Yeah. They those pictures and stuff that they do and they take and all that stuff is always just absolutely phenomenal.
Yeah.
Well, there was a photo that circulated around, of all places, 4chan, that I saw that was talking about the Hubble Space Telescope taking a picture of, like,
Oh.
it's like this teeny tiny little box when they put it in relation to everything that you can physically see,
one.
and it, to the human eye, it appears complete blackness. It's the space in between stars. And the Hubble Space Telescope pointed at that one spot for, like, I think it's several months, if not a year or so, and just stared at that one spot, collecting as much light as it could. And the information that it found was well beyond anything that we had ever seen before. All the way back, can probably be traced all the way back to the actual beginning of time, essentially. And showed this massive universes similar to our own, similar galaxies, that, based on current physics theories of how the universe is formed, is too large to sustain itself. And they have no explanation as to how it could possibly exist. Like, that's something that blows my mind.
So wait, do you mean like the space between galaxies?
Well,
Like...
no. Like, the size of the galaxy itself.
Oh, yeah.
Is so massive that using current thinking and physics cannot explain how it is able to sustain its size.
Well,
without breaking off and creating, other galaxies, or the planets involved in those galaxies shooting off and colliding into something else.
There is a theory that there's a supermassive black hole in the center of each galaxy, but that's pretty deep stuff. So
that's one really, really big black hole, though, apparently.
Yeah.
Supermassive, exactly what I said.
Oh, I mean, bigger than you would expect. Anyhow.
Supermassive is pretty descriptive right there. Anyway.
Speaking of supermassive problems, or something, whatever.
Sure, that.
There's been a lot of Twitter hacks recently, going all the way back to, I mean, most recently there's been some...
the White House?
Well, the White House was hacked?
The White House Twitter account was hacked today, and it announced that 2 bombs went off in the White House. That wasn't
the White House's one. That was the Associated Press. That's actually one that I have in here. The Associated Press, which does news articles for thousands of newspapers across the country, or hundreds, whatever, however many.
They basically collect news.
Yeah, all they do is collect news, and the Associated Press's Twitter account was hacked, supposedly by the Syrian Electronic Army, which is a hacking organization, kind of like Anonymous. And they hacked in and reported on the Associated Press's Twitter that the 2 bombs went off at the White House and Barack Obama was injured. And there's no other details, there's no link, there's nothing. And Anonymous immediately disproved it, because it was just like, look, we have, there's photos and live streams of the White House, no explosions have gone off. You would see something going on. And so it ended up getting refuted, and Associated Press regained control of the account and deleted the tweet and said, we got hacked, it's not true. But the financial impact of it, when that tweet was released and it got popularized, it got retweeted 4,000 times by people that were unaware. And the Dow Industrial Average in the U.S. Stock Exchange dipped 140 points in a matter of minutes. It did almost instantly recover once it was found that this was, a hoax and was just a result of hacking. But still, that's a huge dip for the Dow.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
Looking at that graph, it's bad.
Yeah, it's a huge one. And this is also following recently, over the course of the weekend, CBS News Denver, I believe, and 60 Minutes, both of their Twitter accounts were hacked, which is also going to be in the link dump. So it's kind of crazy for all of these Twitter accounts, especially for news organizations, especially, seem to be being targeted. I guess this should have been a full topic, but all of these hacks happening against news organizations trying to manipulate the news.
Yeah,
There's a saying that goes, it's not bad. Anyway, there's a saying that goes, hit the news, it'll scare everyone.
yeah, honestly.
It's also the saying of believe half of what you hear, or none of what you hear and half of what you see.
Yeah.
To correct myself, the Twitter accounts by CBS that were hacked were 60 minutes and 48 hours, not CBS Denver or anything like that. And the tweets that they sent out were that General Dempsey calls for Obama's arrest under new anti-terror laws.
Oh boy, that's comical.
And this post on 60 Minutes was, excuse me. Oh, it doesn't even show it. I thought I had the tweets that were in question.
Oh, here they are. It's the second link.
Second link?
Yeah.
Well, no, it doesn't. It says what one of the 48 hours one was, but it doesn't say what the 60 Minutes tweet was.
Oh.
Oh well. But yeah, news organizations being hacked.
Yeah. And the problem is, most people will believe anything that they say because
it's a legitimate news organization.
Yeah.
Why should you have any reason to question it?
Mm-hmm. Well, I can name a couple.
Can I point out that CNN needs to get rid of one of those ends? They don't report news anymore.
No, it's all sensationalism.
It is, and I've stopped watching CNN. I've stopped watching Fox News. I've stopped watching anything. I watch the local news because typically they don't try to put a spin on most things, and I will read articles from the BBC as well as the Guardian, which is also a UK-based newspaper, because they will accurately report shit that's going on in the US. Also, I started recently following Anonymous on Twitter. What is it? Youranon News is the Twitter account, at Youranon News. They post up-to-the-minute news gathered from other sites as well as other people. And actually, our next topic is about Anonymous, the hacktivist group, as they're called, and their campaign against CISPA. CISPA is the Cyber Intelligence Sharing and Protection Act, which is basically what, if you guys don't know what CISPA is, for those that are listening as well as you guys, I don't know if you guys are caught up on it. It's basically a worse version of SOPA, the Stop Online Piracy Act.
Oh yeah.
It's a much worse version. It doesn't have to. It's not focusing on piracy per se. It's focusing on cybersecurity, and essentially, it's giving the government permission to, or giving companies rather, social media companies, anything that collects data, it's giving them permission to give the government your personal information without your permission, and to do for whatever purposes they want, under the guise of cybersecurity. They can just say, we need this person's information because it's related to cybersecurity and a threat, and to national security. And the company can give it to them for that reason, and then they can keep it indefinitely. They can use it to essentially wiretap your social media communications. So that means your email accounts, your Facebook, your Twitter, your YouTube account, and Google account. No! All of those they have access to, including your passwords. So that they can access your accounts and private sensitive information.
I believe the only thing I have to say about this is, let me see. Oh yeah, fuck that.
Yeah, we're all gonna. MineSanity is gonna move to Canada, and find a new server host.
Yeah. I say if we all move to Canada, then we can probably all get a house, a nice big house, fairly cheap. Canada house, Toronto,
MineSanity house. Yeah, there we go.
Yeah, the MineSanity sorority house.
I mean, fuck, like Minecraft was saying, having a house in Hawaii. Fuck that. Let's go to Canada. Yeah,
it's cheaper there.
I don't think my wife would particularly appreciate having to live with you guys, and I think Sig's kids and wife might also object.
Well, we don't need to bring them.
My kids would probably have a blast, but
Well, yeah, I mean, it's not going to be much of a difference for you.
yeah, no.
Mr.
Yeah, it's gonna be like
Mr. Great
5
White
degrees
North.
warmer. -5.
Actually, let's see. Well, if you're talking like southern Canada, then yeah, significantly warmer than where I am. So
But so Anonymous had a campaign on April 22nd for calling for an internet blackout, and essentially it just wanted as many websites as they could, which ended up numbering over, I believe the total number was over 1,000 websites, to block out their web pages and post relevant information about Stop CISPA. The hashtag Stop CISPA and CISPA blackout were used throughout the day to try to get them trending. If you guys follow my Twitter feed, you would have noticed me retweeting it several times. Just trying to get information out there. CISPA is bad. It has already passed, however, the House of Representatives in its current incarnation is currently facing voting in the U.S. Senate. However, we are hoping, crossing our fingers, even if it passes the U.S. Senate, that Obama will follow through on his vote or on his threat to veto. He has said that it's not in the best interest of Americans, and he will veto it.
Can't the Senate overturn a veto?
They can, but it would have to be, I believe,
2/3 majority.
Two-thirds majority. They can approve it with only 51 votes to yay, but to override a veto, it has to be through 2/3 majority, which I don't think that they will get.
No,
Okay.
They'll never get it. I don't see the Senate being primarily Republican going that direction anyway.
Well, no, that's the thing. Primarily Republican, it would go that way because Republicans are the ones that are pushing for it so hard.
Really?
Really?
I figure it would have been the nanny state there.
No, the Democrats are completely. I mean, come on, think about it. The Democrats are completely against people's rights being infringed upon for the large part.
Run that by me again. And who's pushing for the gun ban?
This is true. That is a fair point.
I mean, wait, okay. A bomb goes off, we blame the bomber. A drunk driver kills somebody, we blame the driver. Somebody walks into a place and shoots somebody, we blame the gun.
I'm not disagreeing with you. As a firearms owner, I am not disagreeing with you. I think that everybody, and the funny thing is like everybody's all up in arms about it, and Feinstein is the Democratic senator from California, is like the big champion of gun control, and she has a concealed carry permit, and she carries a firearm with her.
Well, what?
That is out freaking standing.
And she made sure that her personal firearm was not on the list of firearms that were supposed to be banned.
Out freaking standing.
Yeah. The other big issue is about CISPA is that information security specialist type companies stand to benefit a huge amount. None other than I can't remember the name of the gentleman. I didn't look it up. But the gentleman that proposed the bill, this incarnation of CISPA, his wife, up until recently, was the CEO and president of such an information security specialization company. Their company specializes in information security and such. And so her company would stand to gain millions, if not billions, in government contracts for that sort of information. So it seems like a huge conflict of interest that nobody is addressing other than, the outside news sources.
So let me get this straight. This was all a ploy for a senator to get money.
And for the government to essentially be able to go around the Fourth Amendment with no possible recourse. No problems with it.
Yes, but he probably didn't think of this at this time. He thought, hey, money deal, let's do it.
I think that's what a lot of politicians think about, which is sad, but...
I saw a picture the other day. It was $1 with something written on it saying, I'm a piece of paper and I run your life.
Yeah.
Sounds about right.
Rag paper.
Actually...
Cotton and... What?
That reminds me of... something I saw just today. It was Oh, what is it? Okay, the channel on YouTube, Vsauce, if any of you guys have heard of it.
Yes.
I've watched some of his stuff every now and again because it's interesting. And the one he actually put out today was about, originally it was about how much money's in the world, which is a lot. But it got into one of the things where the paper money that we use honestly has no value except for what we perceive the value to be.
Correct.
Yeah.
Whereas, things...
There is out there somewhere, I don't know where it is, I'll try to find it and put it in the link dump, a big article about the origin of paper money in place of currency, using paper notes in place of physical gold. And the whole reason behind it was originally is that traders would be going to and from certain locations, from certain hubs, and they would be carrying, gold on them in order to purchase their goods. I don't know if you guys can hear the fire truck going by.
No.
So they'd be going to and from every place. So they had to have, armed escorts to protect their gold, and that cost them money to be able to pay the escorts, to carry around all of this gold in order to do the trading, gold and silver and everything. And so they created a honor system using paper tokens that said, pay to the bearer in X gold, in order to settle accounts, so that somebody...
Gold and silver notes.
Exactly. And the whole basis of it was just that. It was to minimize theft in trading. And it was entirely an honor system. And sometimes if it was, within the same country, if it was different counties or different states like we are set up in the United States, it might not be honored in all locations because people didn't have the same honor system. It might be just between two towns have the agreement that, these paper notes hold value. And it goes into the whole history of how paper currency got established and how it became more prevalent. And up until 1965, paper money actually had value because it used to say on it, U.S. silver note or something along those lines.
Actually, I have some lying around here somewhere, I think.
Those are worth a lot of money. Hold on to them.
Yeah, no kidding.
And some U.S. bills used to say "pay to the bearer in gold," pay to the bearer in gold, or pay to the bearer in silver, upon request. And I do have some of those bills laying around too. Well, not laying around; they're locked up.
Yeah.
But they used to have those, and up until 1964, when the U.S. government stopped circulating silver in its coins. The coins had value. Now they're just tokens. It's just like the paper. They're just tokens.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
A penny costs more to make than it does to...
Correct, for the copper. And a nickel also. I don't know if you guys know that. Nickel is, melting value is a little over 7.5 cents currently. Because it's 99 or 95% nickel. And they're actually planning on replacing it with stainless steel. Probably within the next 5 to 10 years.
Sweet.
Yeah. So
Sweet.
Currently you can't. It's currently illegal to mass export or melt pennies and nickels. So
it doesn't stop people.
No, it doesn't from doing it illegally. But it's illegal to go over the speed limit, and people still do that on a regular basis and try to kill me while I'm driving. But
it's illegal to go over the speed limit.
Is either illegal or unlawful. Take your pick.
About those old dollars that say "pay to the bearer in gold."
Mm-hmm.
I think I had I had a few of those, and then I gave them to the lunch lady for a cookie.
See, I actually had a conversation with my parents. We're going way off on a tangent, but I had a conversation recently. I went up to my family's for Easter, and I had told them, I'm starting to collect, silver coins and stuff, and they're just like, oh, well, great, we have somebody that we can give this to now. And then my mom pulls out a drawer full of silver, and the silver notes and the gold notes, and the regular gold pieces, like gold jewelry and stuff. They're just like, fine, then we have somebody to give this to, because your sister doesn't want it, and we wouldn't give it to your brother because most likely he'd put it in a vending machine. My mom actually had several stories on how a bunch of it got made or got acquired. Most of it was from my dad's mother, who had the foresight to save it for her children. And when she passed away, it got split between my dad and his sister. And my aunt didn't really care much for it, so my dad got a lot of it. She kept a couple of ones that were nice and clean and in their cases and everything because they were mint cases. And one of the ones was my mom used to be a barber for the Air Force at Beale Air Force Base, and she said 2 weeks before she quit, because she was about to have my sister for her first baby. 2 weeks before she quit, a guy came in, a young, I think she said he was a sergeant or something, and he paid her the entire total in silver dimes.
Oh,
And
God.
this was in 1970, or no, this would have been 1982, about 1982, before she quit, 1981, 1982. They gave her all of this silver, and it was like $2 worth in silver dimes, which now those dimes are worth probably about $100 for how much silver it is.
Yeah.
And
not a piece, but...
Oh, no, grand total. But they have probably a couple $1,000s worth of silver and gold.
Really? Wow.
At their house.
Now the only issue is, do you actually collect it, or do you smelt it down and sell it?
I'm gonna be collecting it. I mean, it's gonna when it comes to me, it's gonna go into a safe and stay there. It's not gonna get smelted off or anything, because it's more, intrinsic value more than face value or the melting value and stuff. Boy, man, we really got way off topic.
A little bit.
So the original topic was Anonymous's campaign against CISPA in the April 22nd blackout. I'm talking about my family silver collection. Wow. Okay. Next.
How long have we been going?
We're at 42 minutes.
Oh.
Yeah, we're actually doing pretty well this time. The Just Cause developer says that story-driven AAA games make no business sense. They shouldn't have story-driven games, and they have evidence as to why. Their example is Just Cause 2, which is a game that I absolutely love, and unfortunately I'm included in the majority percentage of this. They said, based on their statistics of gameplay of that game, where they have set campaign missions, only 18% of players that played the game completed all the campaign missions. 18%.
And you were one of
1 out of 5. No, I was one of the 82% that has not completed the game. Because I'm a completionist for some games, for games like that. So I never got around to it. I was trying to complete all of the side quests and missions and stuff like that before I did, because I'm on my Xbox copy of it. I'm on the last mission, on the very, very last mission, and I just haven't beaten it yet because I was trying to get all the side quests, and then I got sidetracked with Minecraft, and well, that's it. And now I started doing a Let's Play on PC for Just Cause 2, and I haven't even gotten halfway through it. But I mean, do you guys agree? Do you guys disagree? I mean, do you guys mostly, when you play campaign or story-driven games, do you normally complete the entire game?
I do my best to get as much content done as possible. I mean, I'm still playing Skyrim.
Yeah, oh man, I've had Skyrim for so long. I have yet to actually finish the campaign, but I play the game.
I have never actually finished. I don't really think that I've ever actually finished a huge game like Skyrim or Just Cause or any game like that.
Have you played Blade and finished Grand Theft Auto? Any of the Grand Theft Auto games?
I have all the Grand Theft Auto games, but I've never played the campaign.
You just go around killing hookers.
Yeah, pretty much.
God, can I peg this guy or what?
Well, that wasn't too hard to figure out.
I mean, just line it up and I'll knock it down. I mean, Jesus. I have not completed. The only Grand Theft Auto game I have is Grand Theft Auto 4, and I have not completed it.
Well, that's the only one I really play too. I got them all for like $12.
I have completed all of the Halo games campaigns. I have completed all of the Call of Duty games that I have campaigns, which is 4 all the way till Modern Warfare 3. I don't have Black Ops 2 or Call of Duty 1, 2, or 3. Battlefield 3, I completed the whole campaign. Looking at games that I have up on my shelf, I completed all of the Homefront campaign. I completed all of the StarCraft Wings of Liberty campaign. Black, which is from the original Xbox, I completed that all the way through. But I mean, that game was only 8 missions long for its campaign.
I was gonna say Homefront took you all of what, about 45 minutes?
So yeah, how many episodes did I stretch it in for my Let's Play?
Oh
Like
Jesus!
8.
Oh my God! Yeah, that was. I had such high hopes for that game.
I did too.
Oh my
It would
God.
make a much better movie than a game.
Yes.
Let's see what else
You know,
is here on my shelf. Far Cry, the first 2 Far Cries, and the first Mercenaries game. All of those. So I got a good percentage.
I gotta say that I think that a lot of people are going more towards the sandbox open world games.
Yeah. I was gonna say something about that. Like with Minecraft, because there is no story to it. We all play it. I mean,
What were you doing, Banjo? I just caught him coming back from my house.
Oh
Jesus.
God.
This happened last week. Banjo and I pranked Graves' house prior to the podcast.
That is of no worry. Anyway,
Okay.
what were we saying?
We're talking about how sandbox games are
Oh
becoming more prevalent.
Minecraft,
Sandbox
Gary's
games are pretty
Mod,
much-
Saints Row 3, all these games, they're really taking over.
Gary's Mod
Yeah.
isn't really a game. It's more of just tools, isn't it?
It's a pretty fun game.
It
People-
could
I
be
can tell you that.
considered a
People-
game, but
it's not really.
just tools.
Yeah, it's
It
mostly
is
just
a tool.
Tools,
It
and
is
you
a
can use
tool,
the
but
tools
it's
to make games.
Yeah.
it's fun. It's
I
fun to
honestly
stick
want to
around.
get it just so that I can play hidden. I'd like to do a MineSanity plays hidden.
Oh, Trouble in Terrorist Town too.
Yeah, Trouble in Terrorist Town, that'd be fun.
Yeah, I used to
Um,
love that game, but nobody ever plays it anymore. At least no one I know.
You can go play with Sea-Nanners.
Okay, you're funny.
People he
What
knows.
I've watched his live streams. He's just like, yeah, come on, get in the server. This is
Well-
the server we're on. Come join us. We're bored.
Yeah, but I mean, like, for me, multiplayer games aren't really fun unless there's other people there. If I
Yeah.
wanted to play single player, I would. So, I mean, unless I can actually talk to people while I play a game, then it really isn't worth it to me.
Meh.
I don't know.
I have to say that I agree with Graves' statement that sandbox style games seem to be becoming more prevalent.
Yeah.
I have a problem with that because I am I'm usually a story driven, player. I like campaign more than any multiplayer typically, and it's kind of sad when somebody says that that's not viable anymore. That story isn't important to players. It's
It is. Like, to me, honestly, I enjoy a good story in a game, but games like, I guess Skyrim and my most recent game that I completed, and I get sad admitting this, but Saints Row 3, whenever I completed it, I was
Well,
sad.
you already
That was
completed that?
I completed it within the first week. What are you talking about?
Dude. Speaking
but the problem-
of, actually, I got that game the other day. So,
Oh, good.
now you guys can do a let's play together. Collab. I think the problem with sandbox style games, as far as their completion rate, is that they're giving you so much content. You have so much freedom of doing whatever the hell you want that people
Don't
want to
like
go
being
do those
restricted.
side little things that seem more interesting than staying just with the campaign. And if you focus just on the campaign, you lose out on all of the sort of peripheral things that obviously the game creators have made because they want you to enjoy it. So I think the completion percentage is kind of skewed because I think people just haven't had enough time to be able to get all of the shit. I mean, if you probably look at Just Cause 2's as far as like Xbox achievements, what the completion percentage is probably well below 18%. I would say it's probably lower than 10% of people getting 100% on that game. Why?
Yeah.
Because they have so many fucking collectibles. There's like 3,000 or 4,000 collectibles in that game.
Dear God.
Because you have a collectible for upgrading your weapons, you have a collectible for upgrading your vehicles, you have a collectible for upgrading your health, you have a collectible that is related to the different factions on the islands that you're on. It's fucking mind-boggling. There's an achievement that you have to drive all 105 unique vehicles in the game.
Oh God.
Yeah.
You know, I'm surprised that anything can run that kind of game because 105 models being rendered out. I mean,
well, they're not anywhere near each other at the same time.
Well, okay, but I mean, like,
I understand what you're saying. Like having, 100 different models being rendered in the same relative area.
Yeah, it's amazing.
And having them be dynamic, fairly dynamic.
Yeah.
And movable. Like in Minecraft, there's zombies, and then all the zombies are the same. But in Just Cause, or what game are we talking about? I'm sorry.
Just Cause 2.
Just Cause 2? Okay, I had it right. Anyway, you have 100 different cars, and they're all being rendered really differently. And knowing a bit about computers, rendering things the same is a lot less intensive than rendering different things.
Yeah. But also, the character models are incredibly similar for non-primary characters, like ones that you interact with. Like the people that are walking around in the towns or driving other vehicles are remarkably similar, even
I don't think
amongst other genders.
I don't really think you could ever make anything that could run that within the next 30 years. If you had...
I'd say 10.
Anyways. But...
we've been going off on some serious tangents
Yeah,
today.
we are. This one is actually related to the last topic, which is Nintendo continues to release titles for existing franchises. Instead of creating new franchises for its systems, it's taking existing franchises, obviously, Mario, Zelda, The Legend of Zelda, Metroid, and continuing to make new titles for the same franchises, just using different... trying to think of the word that they used, using different techniques, different gameplay ideas to create a different experience for each of those games. And this is coming on the heels of Nintendo announcing 4 new titles for the 3DS, all typically, I think, related around either Mario, Zelda, or Yoshi.
Were they not doing this already?
Well, no, that's what I'm saying. They've been... the whole article is talking about why they're continuing to go back to these same intellectual properties and not creating new ones. It's because people are familiar with the idea of Mario or Zelda. If they're introducing a new gameplay mechanic and it's something that's a completely unidentifiable character, something that you haven't seen before, it might not have the same pull. Whereas if somebody sees something that's new and it has Mario in it, well, I like Mario, so we'll try that.
Yeah, Nintendo has made, lots of money. It's a metric ton of money.
Well, look at the popularity of Pokemon.
Yeah, exactly. If you change stuff, it's not going to be as popular.
I mean, I've played them all, and it's the same game. I mean, realistically.
I have an important question. Did you catch them all?
Dang it, no. I came right close, though.
But yeah, definitely, I would agree that Pokemon makes a good note, like along the same line of the existing franchises. It's not it's something that only slightly changes. I don't think that the gameplay mechanic of Pokemon has changed at all since I started playing it, at Red and Blue. I don't think the gameplay mechanic hasn't.
So,
no,
sorry.
Yeah. So, go ahead, Banjo.
Yeah, Pokemon, same game, different characters, different system. They can release 2 every 6 months. Pretty fair deal on Nintendo's half.
Yeah, they're definitely making money off that. Other people that are making money. Netflix reports gains in membership and earnings for their first fiscal quarter. They're up like something like 2 million subscribers
Side note,
in the
good
first.
Good transition.
Thank you for pointing it out. God damn it.
I had to.
Netflix had more than 3 million streaming subscribers, and over 2 million of those were paid members for its market. And they're talking about the reason why they're having such increases is because they're curating their programming, what content that they are offering. They're getting exclusivity contracts with the companies that are making the TV shows as opposed to the distributors of the shows. So they're talking to the actual, A&E, Fox, NBC, as opposed to talking to Comcast or AT&T, the people that are distributing those TV shows through their channels. They're getting it from the source. Essentially, they're cutting out the middleman and getting exclusivity contracts, which is honestly something that they probably, it seems like it's a really smart deal.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how many you guys have Netflix. I have it.
Yep.
I don't. We have limited bandwidth where I am, and if I go over my usage, they nail me to the wall.
Oh, jeez.
So.
You're in
that must
Alaska.
suck with your having to upload videos.
Well, I mean, admittedly, when I started this obsession, I had to up my bandwidth, but but other than that, no, it's. I was wondering how people could afford to be doing Netflix, because I was like, man, I can't. Just 3 movies and you'd be, your average person be done. Yeah,
well, I mean, in where I am in California, Comcast, it doesn't throttle your connection or limit your bandwidth usage, thankfully.
Yeah.
Because otherwise my wife would murder me. Or murder Comcast, rather, hopefully.
Yeah.
Because she lives on Netflix.
What?
She watches Netflix all the time. So I would have a hard time with that. I might actually have to give her attention.
Oh, Lord.
Wait, what?
In every way possible, by the way. Thank you. Lots of attention. Next! Moving on. Study shows... Feelings. Humans show feelings and empathy for robots. This is 2 studies that were done by a German corporation that showed that humans reacting towards a dinosaur-shaped robot and a humanoid robot and a human, they all had almost the same reaction when violence was being acted upon by the unit, or onto the items, the dinosaur, the humanoid, and the human, and the same for when they were receiving affection. Actually, I'll correct myself. They did not have the same, provoke the same feelings for violence against the robots. They did have a response, but not as significant as towards a human.
Yeah, like, oh, poor robot.
Yeah, because they talked about it in a different article that the people watched a robot get choked by a piece of twine, like as if they're using I can't think of the name, the piano, like a piano wire thing.
I don't see how anyone would feel bad about that, because you can't really kill
the robot.
I haven't seen the video. I don't know exactly what they're doing. All I'm basing it off is what the article says. They felt more empathy for the human when it was being acted violently upon, but they had the same feelings of empathy when they were all being treated affectionately. So the title of this article is "Judgment Day Looms. Researchers prove that humans feel empathy for robots." And it starts, "Good news, prospective robot overlords." I think it's kind of weird thinking of people having feelings and emotions for robots, but honestly, I can't really discount the idea, because I have digital cats now in Minecraft that I absolutely hate cats in Minecraft. I hate followers in Minecraft, and I now have 4 of them, and I refuse to kill them because I'd feel bad. Banjo came over to my house and killed wild cats. Thankfully, I wasn't nearby, and I kind of felt bad about that.
I'm sorry, I missed like the last 2 minutes.
Might I add in Slimy?
Yeah, and Slimy. Well, Slimy I kind of feel bad for, but it's more of just making a running joke go on and on and on. Speaking of which, did you relight the monument?
Yes.
Bullshit. I don't believe you for a second.
How long do we have left?
We're actually just ran over an hour.
Okay.
We may
I'll
want to
quick
stop this soon then.
Yeah, well, this one probably should have been an honorable mention because it's an interesting idea, but I don't know. I don't quite understand how people can feel empathy, but like I said, I feel empathy for my cats in fucking Minecraft, so meh.
I don't understand how people can have empathy. That's just stupid emotion.
Coming from the guy that kills hookers persistently in Grand Theft Auto.
Grand
Moving
Theft Auto
on.
is different. You just said I don't see how people can have empathy. That's what I heard.
Empathy for robots.
You never finished your sentence.
Nah, getting over it. Moving on. The question for this podcast, again, submitted by me, not by somebody, because you guys are lame and you won't submit questions. Submit us a fucking question.
Have you seen how many views an average podcast gets?
Yes.
Not many.
Trust me, I'm rolling in the money for the ad revenue.
Oh yeah.
So
Paying for the server 5 times over. Remember, kids, it's a microwave.
Anyhow.
God damn, I don't even fucking. So the question is: movies, Marvel Universe or DC Universe, which is translating better to the big screen?
Ooh. Considering the trailer for Thor 2 just came out
Really?
today.
And Iron Man 3 is set to release, isn't it, next month?
Yeah,
May
I think
3rd?
so.
Is it okay that I never really got the 2 straight in my head?
What do you mean?
Who's in who?
Both of Thor and Iron Man are in Marvel.
Okay.
So, okay, giving you a rundown. Major characters in Marvel: Iron Man, Thor, Hulk, Hawkeye, Black
that's
Widow.
Marvel. Okay. That's
Avengers.
The Avengers. Think
Got
of
it.
The
And
Avengers.
then Justice League
X-Men
is
X-Men is also a Marvel franchise. DC would be
Batman,
Superman,
Okay.
the Justice League of America.
So they're good superheroes.
That's
Sure.
That's the more super of superheroes, we'll say. Is Spider-Man a Marvel? Yes, it is.
Yes.
He is.
Yes, he was
Spider-Man
invented by
is a Marvel.
Stan Lee.
Yes.
So Marvel is
make
Stan
fun of
Lee.
him.
Got it.
Marvel
Yes.
is Stan Lee. Fantastic Four, also Marvel.
Okay.
There's not really a lot of DC movies being made.
No,
It's
there
mostly
isn't.
just Batman and Superman.
Spider-Man.
Green
Oh,
Lantern
no, that
isn't
wasn't
Spider-Man's Marvel. We just
I know,
that's why
yeah,
I
I
had
know, I
asked
know.
which one Spider-Man was.
Isn't Green
Batman.
Lantern DC? Yeah, he
Green
is.
Lantern, yes, was DC,
Green Lantern
but that
was
was
forever
actually
ago.
kind of a flop.
Yeah.
The Watchmen is an independent. That's Dark Horse, isn't it, or something?
Think so.
Yeah,
Not
they're
sure.
not associated with either camp. But I think the consensus is probably going to end up being, except for maybe Banjo, is probably going to be Marvel, simply because they're going through their whole repertoire. They're going through all of the franchises, all the different characters, and creating franchises based on the Marvel name. Because I mean the Fantastic Four movies were fairly well done. At least the first. I haven't seen any of the other Spider-Man movies. The first Spider-Man movie was all right. The X-Men movies pretty good, with the exception of the Wolverine one. I don't even want to know what's going on in game.
No, you don't.
God. And when I logged out, you were all at my house, and that's what scares me.
Oh, we still are.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Or not.
Okay, yeah, that makes me feel a whole lot better. But Banjo, I'm interested in here because you said DC's the good superheroes. Which do you think is doing better in the box office?
In the box office, definitely Marvel. But I'm just saying, like, there's more nostalgia factor in DC.
Okay. Any specific reason? I mean, like, did you collect
Superman?
You collect comic books or?
I have a huge box of comic books, like the original Superman comic books in my attic.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So it's largely just nostalgia.
Yeah, nostalgia factor, really.
Okay.
And I never really liked the... Whoa! Sorry. I never really liked...
Try to keep it related to the podcast, guys. Real MineSanity, a picture of professionalism.
Yes. Yeah, but anyway, I never really liked the Batman or Spider-Man movies all that much.
Okay. I personally would probably be, as far as which camp I would be in, as far as not just of the movies, but which ones I would be more inclined to, I would say Marvel, simply because I hate Superman. Superman's too perfect. It's an unrealistic hero. It's somebody that you cannot possibly relate to in any sort of way.
Whereas Batman's rich, so you possibly can't relate to him either.
I have never said that I like Batman, but
no, he has no powers though. So
epic rap battles: Batman versus Sherlock Holmes.
That was a good one.
That was pretty
really.
good.
Oh God.
Anyways, who growled? Jesus. The fuck was that?
That was I am going to kick some frickin' butt.
Slime ass.
I think this
Between
is
you and Grave?
I think this is
I
probably
left.
the point at which we end the podcast. I'm gonna guess Graves' last words are later. Sig's are gonna be I'm gonna murder you both. And Banjo, run and hide, run and hide.
Just let me make my damn sign.
Oh, jeez. I fear logging back into the server.
I'm trying to put up the sign for the maze, and between Ig and Oog here.
Hey! I'm down.
What the hell is that
I'm down
from?
in Azrael's base. All right.
Dip and Dumber.
Yeah, that works too.
I was gonna say Tweedledee, Tweedledum. Come on, go with Alice in Wonderland. It's classic.
Tweedledum and Tweedledummer.
So you guys are Jim Carrey and I can't remember the other guy's name. You guys would fight over who's Jim Carrey.
Jeff Bridges.
Jeff Bridges. Thank you.
Oh yeah, those two. Wow.
Anyhow.
Congratulations. Anyways, we have run over a little bit over an hour, so thank you guys for listening. If you made it all this way, you guys are greatly appreciated, and we hope to see you guys next time.
All two of you.
Yeah.
Shut up.
All two of you, not including the people that are on the server. So, thank you guys, and we'll see you guys next time. Peace!
Later.
Bye bye.